Hi guys, how are you? Hope Diamond Club's going really well for you. We are Sam and Tim Cannell,
Hi.
and we're just going to spend a little bit of time talking with you about our Diamond Club experience and the family support that comes with the Diamond Club. We want to make sure that you don't just get through Diamond Club, but you absolutely thrive and succeed like we did. So just a little bit about where we've come from and our Diamond Club journey. So Sam started with doTERRA in about 2015. And in 2017, she completed Diamond Club. And as the proud husband, I'm allowed to say that she finished in 6th place, which was absolutely outstanding due to huge amounts of hard work and effort. So we started Diamond Club as some shaky silvers. When I say we, it was pretty much Sam at that stage who was full-time in the business. And we went through Diamond Club and finished as Diamond, which is what it's all about. And we hope that that's going to be the same for a lot of you.
Thanks, Tim. So Diamond Club was an amazing experience. And like Tim said, it was mainly me in the business at that point in time. And Tim was a very busy executive at a big multinational healthcare firm, traveling interstate 3 days a week on average. So Diamond Club for us was really an amazing experience, but we had to really communicate well. We had to work together as a team, not just for the business, but for our home life as well. So that was so important.
And as with a lot of you Diamond Clubbers out there, we're certainly not alone. We've got 2 beautiful daughters. They were 7 and 11 at the time. And our lives were already busy. The kids had sport, they had dance, they had all sorts of things that were keeping them on the go. So we needed to really nut out how we were going to do this. And we were lucky and we did it quite successfully. So before Diamond Club started, in the months before Diamond Club, Sam came to me and said, "Right, Tim, have you heard of Diamond Club?" And I said, "Yeah, but I don't know much about it." And she explained it to me. And I tore my hair out, which is where we are today. No, only joking. But we set our goals. We set our goals for our family, for the business, and we agreed to that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just so important, although you guys are in the middle now, to have those discussions earlier on. And if you haven't had them with your partner yet, talk to them about it now, because you're in the, you're in the messy in the middle kind of bit. The communication becomes even more important. But we really tried to foresee the challenges that would come up. And I said to Tim, if I'm going to do Diamond Club, I want to go all in. I want to give it everything I've got. And thankfully he said, "Yep, okay, I'll support you with this." So we really did it as a team as well.
Yeah. So we've got a couple of ideas around sort of things that may be able to help you. And the first thing is you need to get aligned. So as a partner of a Diamond Clubber, I had to ask myself a couple of questions. Firstly, can you last 4 months? Well, of course you can last 4 months. At the start of Diamond Club, and possibly now in the middle of Diamond Club, 4 months might seem like a long time, but at the end of the day, as Sam always says, Diamond Club is like a season in your business. It's a busy season. For me, I remember it being a big blur, and it was over before we knew, and that was great. So can you afford 4 months to take out of your life? Well, of course you can. It'll only benefit you in the long run. I had to ask myself, and I asked all the partners out there, can you take some time off work? And if you can't, some jobs are obviously harder to take time off than others. Can you just change up the way that you're working? Can you work from home a little bit more? Can you just take a few random days off just in those busy periods to just take the overwhelm and the stress out of everything that you're doing? Because even a day here and a day there for you to catch up on a little bit of normality can be really, really important. And then finally, as we said before, we've got a young family, a busy family. How can we reduce some of our commitments just for a short term length of time? Can we take 1 season off of sport? Can we just cut down on, some other things? You're still going to want to have time with your friends and time for the things that you need to do. But if during this little short time where you're pouring all of your effort into the business, then maybe being able to reduce your commitments would be really useful. And obviously we're halfway through Diamond Club already. You might be feeling that sort of length of, or that position of, oh, geez, it's all too much for me. It's not. You're going to get there, and you're going to get there beautifully. It's just about now prioritizing, focusing for the next couple of months and moving forward really strongly. So getting planning. It's not too late to start planning if you haven't. I think that even though we had some good strategy at the start, we were ad hoc. We were a little ad hoc, and then we invested in a wall planner. Still to this day, I reckon one of the best things we ever bought. On the wall planner, we're able to keep a semi-scheduled routine. So in Diamond Club, you're not going to be able to have a fixed schedule because you're going to have classes here, classes there. You're going to be traveling a little bit. But for the family, I think if you can say, right, maybe Mondays I'm going to not do classes. Monday's my catch-up day. With Wednesdays I'm going to do this. Thursdays I'm going to do this. That gives you that little bit of chance. As a partner, this is great because it allows you to do chunking of time. I call it chunking of time, where you set aside an hour or a half a day or something for the things that need to be done. I find that if you don't set those sort of chunks of time apart, you start doing a lot of little things and don't get anything done. So I reckon that being able to set solid blocks of time, mark it down on your calendar, is a great way of doing things. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think the wall planners were a godsend for us, both the planner that we've got here and, like Tim said, it's in our pantry. It's still a really big part of our family routine now. We also had a big laminated calendar that lived on our fridge, and back in January I set my dates for where I'd be going to Melbourne because that was my out of area each month, and we'd put big lines through, like when I was traveling, and I'd write, we had sort of color coding for classes so that the kids could look at that, Tim could look at it at any point in time. His travel was also on there, and it just helped to have that at a glance. You know, it was on the fridge, it wasn't pretty, but it just helped, you know, everyone know what was going on at all times. Do you want to share the top picture?
Absolutely. So when it comes to planning, my job was in corporate. So I was always looking for a result, looking for a goal, looking for an endpoint. And halfway through Diamond Club, you know, I started to think, oh, geez, there's a lot of work going on here. Where are we going with this? So Sam had all of her proper analytics in the office and understanding of exactly where the business was. But just as a visual indicator for us on our little noteboard here, I just drew our 4 legs up with our qualifying legs in those, gave them all a little bit of a love heart to make sure that they were getting to their targets. And every time we hit our target on one of our qualifying legs, we would colour in that little love heart. All of our classes were booked in here. We could see how many classes we need to do. So for me, you know, only being on the periphery of the Diamond Club and only seeing, you know, a little bit of what we were doing, it was able to really give me that drive to say, yes, we're in the right direction. Sam, keep going. Family, keep going, because we could see that we were definitely on our track. So as a partner, I would suggest even just something in your notebook or on your fridge, like Sam said, with a laminated sheet, just have a track like this and use that to show that the light is there at the end of the tunnel, and it's really exciting.
Yeah, this is a great way to involve your kids too. Yeah. For those of you that have kids, they'd colour in our elites as they hit. So it's just a good way when you're going for a bigger goal. If you are during Diamond Club, this was May, this was our very last month, just gets them on board and involved, because they probably won't see much of you in the month of May. Yeah.
The other thing is about getting organised. And I reckon you can start there.
We've got here first about mindset. And I think for those of you particularly that are mums and are used to being the primary caregiver, having your mindset right, particularly at this stage, like I said, you're at the messy in the middle stage. You've probably got some mama guilt creeping in. You're probably getting frustrated because maybe the house doesn't look as tidy as it normally does. Maybe things aren't quite getting done to your usual standards. It's such a great time to let go of that stuff. Like, it's not serving you, it's not serving your business, and it's certainly not serving your family, because guess what? They're going to survive without you. Like, it's really hard for us when we're the primary caregiver to accept that. But the reality is, I know for our family that Tim's relationship with our kids got so much stronger because I wasn't around as much. So it's, you know, a great opportunity. Like, instead of resenting that time away from your kids, be thankful that your partner, or maybe it's grandparents, uncle and aunties, friends, whatever, get to spend more time with your kids, because they're strengthening relationships away from you. That's actually really good for children. So let go of your mama guilt. Super, super important. And just really get in the game. Like, you are doing Diamond Club. This is a really big commitment, but it's an incredible one. You're empowering your team, empowering other people, changing other people's lives. It's amazing. So I had the mindset all through Diamond Club that it's going to be fun. You know, often we hear about Diamond Club, people say it's so hard. Like, if you are walking around with the mindset, this is so hard, guess what? It's going to be hard. I always believe we choose our hard. And yes, it's hard to be away from our family, but what you can create, you know, what we created in that 4 months is just unbelievable. So having your mindset right is so important. There's loads of audio books, podcasts, and that you can listen to help in this area. But you're always a work in progress as well. When you're driving, listen to those podcasts, you know, get your personal development in that time and work on your mindset, because it's going to serve you not just now, but after Diamond Club is finished as well.
And mindset certainly goes for the partner as much as the Diamond Clubber. You know, we know that the Diamond Clubber is driven. We know that they've got those goals. I think as a partner of a Diamond Clubber, it takes a little while to get into the mindset. It takes a little while to fully engage in what they're doing. But once you are switched on, and once you are, you know, going back to that aligned, once you're aligned with that person, there is no stopping you as a conglomerate family or whatever it is. So that's great. And as part of that, you may as well get involved. Don't sit there and watch. Don't sit there and resent. Get involved. Get engaged. One of the simplest things and most fun things that we would do is me and the two girls would sit down and create the welcome packs. Who hasn't sat there and dropped 10 drops into 100 vials and just thought, wow, this is amazing? That's a bit of an in-joke, but we have fun when it comes to counting out the drops to put into little sample vials. But it's these little things and other little things like filling up the car with petrol, pre-booking the parking for your Diamond Clubber, just going online while you're sitting on the couch watching the footy and just searching for your cheap hotels or your hire cars for when your Diamond Clubber has a trip. Just doing these little mindful things that really, really are administrative nightmares for a Diamond Clubber who's got such a bigger picture to see. If you can get engaged in that, if you can get involved and organised, then again, using that is going to take all of those little niggles and all of those little stresses away. We didn't have too many disagreements during Diamond Club, surprisingly, but anytime things were getting tense, it's because Sam was having to do all of these little 1%ers, which, in the end, as a family, we ended up doing together. So that's a suggestion as well that you're able to look at. Now, halfway through, cooking. It's, very important to keep happy stomach, happy family.
It's so important that you're all well nourished through Diamond Club. And this is probably one of the biggest challenges that families face. You know, cooking takes time. It takes effort to go to the shops, to, you know, plan your meals, that sort of thing. So in the January, I was fortunate enough to get my mum to come down and we did a 2-day batch cook. And that saw us probably to the halfway point in Diamond Club. So if you have time, definitely call in some help, you know, whether it be from your partner or a grandparent, or maybe you know someone who's amazing at doing batch cooking.
Maybe your team or your upline.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out for help. Honestly, guys, don't be afraid to ask for help, especially in this area, because especially if your partner works, like this is the thing I knew for Tim, I had to make this part of our life easy, or he was going to really hate the Diamond Club experience. So we did that big batch cooking, but then there's also other options as well if you're maybe not into cooking or you're not, you know, into the batch cooking and that sort of thing. And Tim's going to talk a little bit more about something that we discovered about the halfway point that we've used since. It's actually really cool.
So the other thing we've got written here is delivered meal plans, things like HelloFresh. Now, when we did Diamond Club, they didn't deliver to our regional town. But you certainly can look at groups like HelloFresh. I really like cooking. but I like cooking for fun, and sometimes day-to-day cooking, as you know, gets a bit monotonous. And when you're having to pick up a lot of the stress, or not the stress, a lot of the actions around family life, the cooking can be quite difficult. So we decided to look into a personal chef. And I know that sounds really extravagant, and even I thought it was really extravagant when we looked into it. But we found someone, and I know that these people are popping up all around the country now, which was a lady who cooks absolutely to your menu plan, healthy, easy, convenient food. So the way that we did it was we had a couple of discussions with her in the lead up about what sort of things that we'd like. She then said, okay, this is the ingredients that I need. So we did a big supermarket order, got it all delivered. That was $500 or $600 worth of food delivered to home, which sounds like a lot, but when you're talking about 2 months, actually makes it quite affordable. This lady came into our home, into our kitchen, and spent 8 hours and created 12 different dishes for us. So I think at the end of that day, we had over 300 individually packed meals, which lasted us well past the end of Diamond Club. And they were all sensational. And because we had 12 different options, it was not boring or monotonous, and it was stuff the kids liked, so we had no problems at all. At the end of the day, that ended up costing us around about $5 a serve, if not a little bit less. So in terms of coming up with different ideas like that, I really say to you that this is one of the things that can absolutely change the game. Obviously, a cleaner, if you don't have one and you can afford one, then sometimes get a cleaner in to take those stresses away. But around the cooking and the food and the nutrition side, we had this personal chef come in, and again, as I say, it lasted us well up past Diamond Club, and we've used her again since. So have a look for those sorts of things in your region as well, because they can make all the difference. Get together. So we've spoken about our daughters, and we know that a lot of you out there have families as well. And even though you're absolutely smashing out Diamond Club and you're all being really successful, still don't forget to give your kids the time that they need. They don't need massive amounts of time, but they certainly need repetitive time. They need to be heard. They need to really think that they're still engaged. And that's why bringing them through as part of the journey, I think, is quite nice. Sit down, talk to them, make them feel like part of this, get them to help where they can. And if you've got happy kids and kids that think that this is all a thing, you'll be very successful. So that's my biggest recommendation, is even in the short little periods that you've got, sitting down, having a coffee, sitting down at dinner time, make sure that your kids are really engaged, understand what you do, if they're old enough to do that, because they'll really enjoy it and they'll be cheering for you as well.
Absolutely. And I think it's just with the kids as well, it's being really present with them when you do have the time, which can be, I know even with the doTERRA business, normally that can be a struggle because we are so contactable via, mobile messages, social media, all of that sort of stuff. But when you have those limited opportunities with your kids, put your phone down and just really be present with them. They will really appreciate it so much more, and you'll get so much more out of those, precious moments that you do have. And my biggest tip is try and have at least one date night a month with your partner. It doesn't have to be a fancy dinner at a 5-star restaurant. It can be grabbing a takeaway and going to the beach, or just something really low key, but actually making a bit of time for your relationship, even if it's just one night a month, will really help you guys stay on track through Diamond Club. And communication is just the key.
Absolutely.
Make the most of, if you're driving a lot. I did a lot of driving in Diamond Club. We'd be on the phone. Sometimes when your ship's passing in the night, that's the only opportunity you've got to actually exchange what's going on in life for both of you. But keeping the communication really open, both about what's happening in Diamond Club, what's happening at home, is just so important for both of you. There's
going to be fun days, there's going to be hard days, and the way to get through that is just by keeping talking, keeping your communication open, and caring for yourselves. As a Diamond Club partner, the self-care of you is just as important as your Diamond Clubber. Boys, look after yourselves, because there is no one out there who's going to take care of you the way that you can. So really, if it's mental health, if it's physical health, work through these couple of months and really focus on yourselves where you can. Use your oils. Use your oils. It's something we forget sometimes, but really use them because they're outstanding. And if you're not, maybe this is a great opportunity to look at some of the supplements like Lifelong Vitality, you know, because the difference that makes in your physical wellness is huge. And as Sam said about the communication piece, just keep checking in on each other. Partners, check in on your Diamond Club and make sure that they're positive. You start to get a little bit of doubt. Don't let that doubt creep in. Reinforce the strengths, encourage to tell them what they're doing and how great they are. And that communication piece, I think we've rambled on about it now on a number of slides, but it's absolutely critical. So yeah, keep going with the communication.
Now, get excited. Like, you are in the most incredible time of Diamond Club. I know for us, it was April where we went, whoo, you know, it was just amazing. Like, there were, you know, it was interesting to sort of look back at some of our numbers in preparing for this. And I just looked at March, we slipped back a little bit. It was like, what happened? We were still doing all the action. But April, guys, that was when it really kicked in. So this is where, you know, it's time to really nourish yourself. Like I said, that self-care piece, get excited, get your Mito2 Max and get all those, you know, things going that help take care of you and your family, because you're in for a great ride. Remember the big picture. Why have you committed to Diamond Club? A lot of you are probably doing this for your family, for the freedom it's going to create, even though you're making some sacrifices now. So just remember the bigger picture, because it's so worth what you're doing right now. And don't feel guilty. Like I said before, mama guilt is not needed around here when you're doing Diamond Club. You're creating amazing things and your family will be so proud of what you're creating. So don't feel guilty about this commitment that you've made with Diamond Club, because it's so incredible in terms of what you're creating. Just let go of the guilt, guys. It's not going to serve you at all.
Yeah. And every time that you have a success, how big or little it is, celebrate it. Celebrate your partner, celebrate your family, celebrate your business, because you've got this. This is outstanding. To get to this point and moving forward, you've got so much to look forward to, and you should be celebrating every success. At this point of Diamond Club, sort of halfway through, I reckon that we need this 15-litre jar of balance, because just to bring us back to ground, just to bring us back to earth, to focus our attention back on where we need to go, breathe and move forward. But we wish you every success and every luck in the rest of Diamond Club, guys. Go well, enjoy it, get out there, make magic happen, and just from us to you, we wish you every success.
Absolutely. Good luck, guys. See you later.
Great. Bye.